Nuggets picked their head coach, but no GM? Plus, Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals, what's going on with the NBA right now? Let's find out. You're watching CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. Let's get it. How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler here for another take of Nuggets basketball. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of Nuggets basketball talk and some NBA talk, and then some other talk, some little bit of music, maybe a little bit of film, whatever floats your boat. We're going to be diving into it because there's always stuff to talk about, that's why we're here. First, let's break it down with the Nuggets stuff. I know I haven't been on for a couple of days here. I'm pretty sure you've already figured out all the news that's been happening. It is 2025 after all. I'm pretty sure you're not living under a rock. So who's the new head coach? The new head coach is David Adelman. We all saw it coming. I mean, if you didn't see it coming and you were surprised by this, if you were surprised by this news, then you were obviously not paying attention because it was pretty out there. And if you know anything about the Kroenkes, that's the one thing I think that a lot of Nuggets fans who maybe are like, oh, you got to do this trade, you got to do this, and why are you not firing Malone right now? Malone needs to go. The Kroenkes are very cheap. If you have never been to one of their playoff games or to the finals game, they are very, very cheap. Just understand that. I went to the NBA Finals in 2023, Game 2, unfortunately the only game that the Nuggets lost that series. But I went to that game. You know what they handed out? Raggedy towels, thin bullshit towels. That's what they gave fans who paid thousands of dollars for a seat in that game. Other teams, yeah, they give out shirts and everything. Not the Kroenkes. They don't roll like that. So you take that into account. You also take into account that they just don't like firing their coaches. They will keep their coaches for a long time. That is both a good trait and a bad one. Good because sometimes teams need time to get to know one another, to build that camaraderie together and everything. It's not like, oh, this not working after a couple of months, okay, sub them out. It's not like that. And at the same time, if it's been going on for 10 years and I can understand those that wanted Malone out a while ago if he hadn't have won a championship for this for the Nuggets, for Denver. But he won a championship. So that's where a lot of the heat came from when he got let go. So now you look at David Adelman. David Adelman has been in the organization, the Nuggets, for a long time now. And so they are not going to risk just randomly getting someone outside, a third party or someone new or whatever, to coach their team. They're going to hire within. I know a lot of people would rather them spend a lot of money on a championship winning coach, but again, they just aren't like that. The Kroenkes are not like that. So when you understand how cheap they are, then you understand just, okay, yeah, that makes sense. They chose that guy. Am I happy about it? I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I'm also not, totally pissed off that they did that. I mean, to David Adelman's credit, he had a phenomenal entrance as a head coach. I mean, I actually was really worried that he wasn't gonna build the shoes, because the times that he's sat in as interim head coach when Malone was sick or gone or whatever for some random reason, he lost those games. And I've seen him in the summer league, not coaching our team very well. But during the regular season, I guess he does fairly well outside of the ones that he had coached before this. So that's why there's a lot of people that are saying like, oh, he's undefeated in regular season. Did they not remember that Adelman was the coach during that first game in New Orleans earlier this season? Like the first embarrassing loss that we took. Like, I'm not going to even count our first game being an embarrassing loss because that was against OKC, whatever. And then we lost to the Clippers. Okay, whatever. But the one that was actually very embarrassing was that one against the New Orleans Pelicans. But that was without Jokić and no Coach Malone, right? But Adelman was at the helm. So, I mean, you could say that a lot of Adelman's success as of late is more due to the fact that Jokić is more or less coaching the team. But you could also say that, Adelman learned from his mistakes before, but he has coached more than just the last 3 regular season games. So he is not undefeated. He has lost, but it is, to his credit, a very impressive way to enter into the role as head coach, is to get immediately 3 wins. And then we got that first win during against the Clippers, right, in round 1. That was also nice to see. I mean, he did extend 2 rounds to 7 series games. He didn't get swept. He didn't, there was 2 embarrassing losses, right? Actually, technically 3, because there was an embarrassing loss against the Clippers. But when you understand the team that you're watching, for the Nuggets to get embarrassingly blown out in a game, now, even post-championship, they've already had plenty of those. I mean, after you lose to the worst team in the league of the Wizards twice, anything other than that is just kind of like, okay, yeah, this adds up. Yeah, we lose embarrassing sometimes. We also win in the clutch a lot of times in some intense games, but we do lose very embarrassingly quite often. So it's not really out of nowhere that they lost 3 embarrassing games in 7-game series against 2 formidable teams. Now, that's the other thing too, is that the round 2 was against the best team in the league, and we took them to 7-game series. So that's slightly David Adelman, that's slightly Jokić coaching the team. That's also, I don't know if you saw a lot of the other stuff that Russell Westbrook was also coaching sometimes too. There was a lot of communication that didn't happen beforehand when Malone was in charge for the last couple of years, after post championship, and he apparently got too greedy that he just was like, tunnel vision and didn't want to hear anyone else. He had an idea. He wanted to go with that idea, and fuck you if you had any other way of going about it, aka Calvin Booth. But to Malone's credit, fuck Calvin Booth, because he just ruined the Nuggets from the moment that he got into the organization. So, but I'm again, I don't hate that David Adelman got signed head coach. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It is kind of what it is, and it makes sense. The one thing that I will actually say that shocked me was that they chose him so quickly instead of the GM. And that worries me a little bit, just from the standpoint of how the last GM head coach setup went around. I don't want whichever GM that they decide to go with to battle Adelman now. Like, whoever they get, they need to work in sync with one another, which is kind of why I'm leaning now more to Ben Tesser, who no one really knew who that guy was until now. But now I'm hoping he gets the job, because he is understanding of Adelman. He knows Adelman. They've worked together for a long time. And Tesser has also apparently been in the organization for a very long time. So again, understanding the Kroenkes, they most likely will go with him. So any of you fans out there that think that they're going to go with Bob Myers, there's like a 10% chance that they'll go with Bob Myers, and a 90% chance that they're going to go with Ben Tesser. I will not be surprised if they go with Ben Tenser. I will actually be surprised if they do go with another GM. And if they do, hopefully he knows Adelman. They work well together, because that's just kind of what this organization needs. And hopefully they know when to trade a player or make some moves when it really counts, and not just hold on when we're clearly struggling. So, Calvin Booth, man, ruined a good 2 years of the Nuggets. It almost kind of feels, I don't know about you guys, but it kind of feels like Calvin Booth came into the Nuggets with the only goal to ruin the team. Like, he had some kind of ulterior motive to sabotage the team. And it just unfortunately happened that they won the championship the same time that he got into the organization. And he's like, dang it, fooled my plans. Well, I'll get them next year and then the year after that. You know, I don't know. It just kind of feels like he wasn't there on good intentions. They haven't chosen a GM yet. Kroenke, when he announced the head coach of going with Coach Adelman, had also talked about the fact that they would go with a third party to hire the GM. So there is still a slight chance that they may not go with Ben Tenser, but I think that they will. But he also said that he was somewhat happy with the way the team roster structure was set up. So I agree and disagree with him. And I know a lot of you want MPJ to be traded. I know a lot of you want Murray to be traded. I understand those, the idea of wanting to trade them. I also understand wanting to keep them. And when you get attached to players that help you win a championship, you kind of just get a little bit stubborn, thinking that this is what we need to win another championship. But then you look at the last 2 seasons and how they've played, and the fact that we were second round exits 2 years in a row. You can look at that as a bad thing and a good thing, right? A bad thing, we didn't make it to the championship 2 years in a row. We can also look at it as we didn't exit in round 1, and at least we made the playoffs. So there are, ups and downs, though not winning a championship is definitely greater than the other ones, but still, like, it is something. And this is also coming back from a Nuggets fan who has been in the depths of this team since the early 90s. So, for them not to win the championship this year, but still go as far as they did, it hits a little bit differently than maybe some of you who, entered more in the Jokić era of always winning. So do they have what it takes right now? This is what I'll say too, is that hiring now you know who your head coach is. Now the task is for Coach Adelman to make sure that he holds Jamal Murray's butt to the fire. Make him get into shape. You got to make him get into shape. And he will say, oh, isn't this been every single year where I slowly move into it or whatever? Yes, but also no. Because you just can't, it has been, we have seen now 2 seasons after winning the championship where he has just been out of shape. He's not coming back in with any kind of wanting to impress anyone, and or to make a statement or anything. I think this is why, again, I will go back on my statements of why we need to talk more about Aaron Gordon. Because Aaron Gordon, however, did spend all of last summer perfecting his three-point ability, his free throw ability. He's even become a better defender. Aaron Gordon has just tried to find ways to make his game better to help the team. He even took a pay cut for the team. He is such a team player. But then you look at Jamal, and he just is not. He's playing. He's he's not. He's kind of is and kind of isn't our version of Luka. He's playing video games. He's not out there working out. He's going to MMA fights. He's smoking cigars, drinking beers, and everything. You could say a little bit of that was influenced by Jokić too. At least when Jokić, before Jokić actually started like cracking down on his on being in better shape. But and Jokić is also going to be playing basketball this summer, so you don't have to worry about Jokić. I know he said that he was going to have a lot of beers on the off season, but I think that him still playing, it's for like the World Cup or whatever he's going to be playing for or whatever. Like that's going to keep him in shape and finding ways to play better. Jamal Murray needs to do that. I mean, I know that he has his health issues, right, with his legs. And maybe it's just him taking time to make sure that his legs are the healthiest that they can be, so that when he does come back into training camp, that he can start to build on more of his defense and shot making again. And then there's Michael Porter Jr., who, Michael Porter Jr., it's a marvel at the amount of physical limitations that has been placed upon him since entering this league, and yet he is still shown to be a somewhat decent basketball player. We don't win a championship without him. I know Murray and Jokić were a huge part of that. Christian Brown and Brucey Brown were a part of that. KCP, but you don't win without his 3-point making ability. The same thing you could say with Aaron Gordon. We don't win without him. It was such a team effort, not just the game controlling amazingness that we saw from Jokić. So he is a good player. It's just that he has consistently been in some little slumps. He will have a couple of amazing games, and then he will have a lot of trash games. He doesn't play great defense, though he can, because he's tall, he can block some shots, he can get some rebounds. He can assist at times. I've seen his assists go up a little bit more lately. So, with his shoulder and everything, it is kind of risky to be relying on him being this anything better than what he's already been, I feel like. So maybe it is a good time to trade him. I think, and I said this before, I think he is the key starter that's on the chopping block if they decide to get rid of any kind of cap space or relieve some cap space. But then you go to Christian Brown. Christian Brown, I think, is not getting enough credit because a lot of people are saying, like he needs to be better or whatever. Have you not seen the increase in his game since last season? I mean, he was second, or, he was, I think, fourth. He was fourth in line to the Sixth Man of the Year award. That's not nothing, He has definitely upped his game significantly. I mean, he's damn near close to what KCP was now, except for the fact that he gives us more points than KCP did. KCP averaged roughly around 9 points a game. Christian Brown's now averaging around 15 points a game, 12 to 15, I think it is. So, I don't think that we need to be worried about Christian Brown slacking off at all. He's going to be better in trying to get himself better this offseason. The other players that I would really focus on making sure that they are ready to go for game 1 of the regular season in October is Peyton Watson, Julian Strother, Zeke Naji, and Jalen Pickett. Those 4 right there need to do everything they can to make themselves a deeper bench. Peyton Watson has been in the Nuggets uniform for the same amount of time that Christian Brown has, right? Christian Brown, this was his third year? Yeah. So Peyton Watson's also been here for 3 years. So, he should be one of the best defensive elements to the Nuggets. The couple of games that he's been on a block, a Swatson kind of revenge of blocking shots left and right, like, we need that more consistently with him. We need him to be able to dunk when he's on the fast break. We need him to be able to, or even lay it up. He should be able to make the threes that he shoots. And so just overall, it would be nice to see him elevate his game more and rewatch a lot of the film from this whole season, if not just the postseason, stuff that helps you get better as a player. We need that from him. Zeke Naji, I would love to be proud that Zeke Naji is the fifth most expensive player, or was it fifth or sixth most expensive player on our roster. I would love to see that actually be a good thing and not right now where it's a bad thing, where we desperately need to offset his salary cap. So right now, if we trade him, great. If we're able to trade him, great. But if he stays, he's got to put in more help into the team. And, I think he is capable of doing it. I 100% think that he is capable of doing it. It's just, can he do it consistently? And that's what he needs to work on, is the consistency. Because we saw several games this season already where he was crushing it. And we were all happy that he was on the team. Same thing with Jalen Pickett. He had a triple-double game this season. So both of those guys need to step up in the offseason and make themselves better. Julian Strawther, he has to be our best bench player, 100%. Coming into the new season, he has to be our best bench player. And I would absolutely love for Julian Strawther to get the most improved player of the year award this coming next season or whatever. Like, that would be amazing. So, lots there. But when you look at all of it, I don't disagree with Kroenke. I think that they were very close. Again, they should have won against OKC. They should have beat them in 5. That's where we are right now. They let off their foot off the gas, and they allowed OKC to breeze by at the very end. But when you look at the games 4 and 5, those should have been Nugget wins. We were up in both of those games all the way to the fourth quarter, and then we allowed them to win in the fourth quarter. It should be right now Nuggets versus Timberwolves in a rematch from last year. But instead, they slacked off in the fourth quarter. They whatever you call it, fatigued out or whatever, like, they stopped playing and they lost the series in game 4. I 100% agree with Kroenke on that. They didn't lose the series in game 7. It is nice that they extended it to 7, but they didn't lose it in 7. They lost it at game 4 when they could have won it. And then again at game 5 when they could have won that too. Because also, if you think about it, if they had lost game 4 but won game 5 and then won game 6, it'd be over there too. They would have won in 6 games. But either way, we should have won against OKC, but we didn't. We couldn't close the deal. So, we are close. And I heard this on the DNVR podcast that someone was saying that we are close and not close at the same time. And I do agree with that. I think that is a very good take on the state of the Nuggets right now. We are both close to the championship and not close enough. So it's all now down to what the new GM decides to do in this offseason and make some moves. And they need to make some moves to be better next season. So I don't want the Nuggets to just roll it back, the exact same team as this year, trying to go at it the same thing. I do hope that Russell Westbrook stays, but I don't think that he will now. I've heard too much that he will probably leave because he's a player contract or whatever that he can go freely. So he actually took a pay cut to be on the Nuggets, and now he extended that. He got a little bit of negativity from people after Coach Malone left, and then the whole thing with him and Aaron Gordon with the ESPN article. So I don't think that he will stay. If he does, great, and I hope that Denver continues to welcome him on the court, because I dug him. You know, he was definitely crazy at times, and he made me put my face in my hands constantly. From his kind of, what the fuck did you just do, Russell? There was no one there on that part of the court. Why'd you toss the ball that way? Like those kind of plays, those boneheaded plays that are just like, what are you doing? But I hope he returns, just because he is kind of fun to watch. And so then moving on here, last we had talked about how Malone disrespected not only Nuggets Nation but also Jokić in his first showing as an ESPN commentator. And on game 2, he walked back his statements. And I saw a couple of you comment about this now, and so I wanted to bring it up. That, yeah, he walked back his statements. Does that make it okay? Not really, but it does help, I think. For me, it does. I mean, at the same time, knowing Malone, like, I kind of don't believe him at the same time. Like, it does kind of feel like he is forced to say that to kind of not flame any relationship with people in the Nuggets. And the reason why it kind of feels like it was forced to is because he only focused on the MVP part. He did not walk back anything with the Nuggets fans. Like, that's what kind of bothers me. And he stood on his business saying OKC had the best fans in the NBA. So that still kind of irks me. And I think it was a very insincere apology for the saying SGA was MVP. You know, especially when he said that there was a confusing part on how he said it too, because he said, you know, I voted for Jokić. If I had a vote, I would have voted for him. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Basically, you're telling me that you didn't vote for him, but you would have if you had. And you said at first you voted for him because you wanted us to believe that you actually did something good, but instead you walked it back a little in the same statement and just said that if you had a vote, you would have voted for him. That's kind of what I got from that. And so I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. If you think that Malone was sincere or insincere. Do you accept his apology? And what do you think about him still not saying anything, no apologizing to the Nuggets fans? Because, I mean, I said this the last time too. Like, I completely 100% feel for him being upset with the Kroenkes in the front office. 100%. Like, I'm upset with him, for him, at them. But you can't redirect your anger at other parties that had your back, essentially. Like, the fans had your back, Jokić had your back. Oh, probably had his back. We don't really know. He could have easily have just been like, okay, yeah, get rid of him. But definitely some of the other players had his back. I know Jamal had his back because Jamal and him, you know, they're like this. So I'm fairly certain that you know, I think AG and Christian Brown probably had his back, but that's probably it. And so then moving on. Well, speaking of the MVP. Because this didn't happen when I spoke last. So SGA, as we all kind of figured out and kind of knew a month ago, that he was awarded the MVP award. And I got into a lot of debates over this on Instagram with OKC fans. And basically my takeaway from that is just that if you want to argue the outcome of this award, you will have a better chance at arguing at a wall than talking to any OKC fan. They are insufferable. They will continue to disregard any kind of facts or notion of reality in just backing their guy up. And some part of that is admirable. I get it. You like your guy. I mean, we back up Jokić too, but I mean, it is kind of like comparing potatoes and oranges together, like they are not the same thing, but whatever, your guy got the award, good for you. Now we can move on, right? We can shut up about this whole MVP business and move on. At least I hope so. I mean, I feel like the whole Jokić Embiid argument kind of ended now, and now it's kind of transcended into this SGA Jokić argument. And for one, they are two different players. They play two completely different styles of basketball. They are both on different positions. And here's the thing for me, like, he got the award. Fine. Okay, well, let's move on. But before we move on, I just want to say that, there are at least 10 other SGAs in the league right now. Right now. SGA is not one of one. There are so many other SGAs right now in the league. There is only one Jokić. There is only one Jokić. Like, you look at the stats, right? Jokić had a total of 34 triple doubles at the end of regular season. 34. Do you know how much the second guy on that had? It was Giannis with 11. He had over 20 more triple doubles than Giannis did, who was second. Like, the gap there. Like, come on. And you're going to tell me that SGA with his points is more valuable? Get the hell out of here, man. Like, that's what I just can't understand. Like, points do not make you more valuable. How you affect the team does. And SGA when any of the times that he was off the court or out of the game, OKC still dominated the games that they played without him. Tell me a single game where the Nuggets dominated any team without Jokić. Any team. The only time the bench actually stepped up in the non-Jokić minutes was in the playoffs. This most recent couple of games. That was the only time. The rest of them, it was so drastically different. And the fact that when Jokić is on the floor, they are the best team in the league. They are still number one in the league. When he is off the court and out of play, they are the worst team. Think of how many teams that are bad right now in the league right now, and you have to be the worst team out of all of those. That's the difference. And so SGA winning only tells me that he won because of voter fatigue. That was it. People not wanting Jokić to win a fourth and also to win another second in a row. Like, he 100% deserves it, but okay, yeah, give it to SGA so we can just move on and not have to worry about OKC constantly complaining that their guy didn't get MVP award. I mean, you don't hear as much as the Mavs fans have been known to complain about stuff. You don't hear them constantly complaining that Luka last year didn't get the MVP award, even though I would have totally been okay with Luka getting the award last year. He definitely earned it last year. He played better last year, Luka did, than SGA played this year. So, I think it was rigged. I think that SGA does not deserve that award. I also think it's a bullshit award now because now we're attaching this award to the best player on the best team. But it's MVP. It's not MV team. It's MVP, meaning player, individual. And so if the best team gets that award, I just don't understand that. Because that player did not help that team get to number one. Yeah, they helped within the grand aspect of a team, but if you give one player an award like that on the best team, then you are also discounting all of the hard work that rest of that team did to get themselves to that spot. OKC was the 1 seed this year, not because of SGA, but because they were an overall better team. Jokić is the only reason why the Nuggets got the 4th seed. And they could only get as high as the 4th seed because Jokić couldn't get them because it's almost damn near impossible to get an entire team by yourself to the number 1 seed. You would need help from the rest of the team. And so they didn't help, which led us to only getting the 4th seed. So I really cannot stand these SGA Glazers that just constantly are like, oh, SGA deserves it. He did this. He was a good defender or whatever. Yeah, he was a good defender. Okay. Well, Jokić was 2nd or 3rd in steals this season. Like, don't tell me he can't defend. He was one of the top 3 in steals. He was the top 3 in steals. He was the top 3 in assists, in rebounds, and points. What more do you want from a player to finally be like, I know he won it last year, but he is really having a phenomenal year. He kind of deserves it again. Like, what more can convince someone or a group of people to just say, you know what, we can't go with SGA this year. We need to go with Jokić because he clearly is still the MVP. It should 100% be MV4 right now. So that's my only thing with that. And because of all of that, because of all what's happened around the MVP award, it has made me so bitter and angry towards the OKC. Like, really, they bought this award, right? And so they didn't earn it. They bought it. And I hate them so much now that I am actually turning to the Timberwolves to try to kick their ass. And for 2 games, it did not go that way. And in fact, the OKC embarrassed the Timberwolves twice in a row. But luckily, tonight, the Timberwolves got revenge, and they had a huge blowout. If you didn't watch the game, they had a huge blowout against OKC, winning by 42 points. Final score was 143-101. Now that is a great statement to make when you're at a home game down 0-2 in a series. So hopefully the Timberwolves come back in game 4 and they tie that series up. Because at this moment, I mean, as a Nuggets fan, I hate both teams. Respectfully, disrespectfully, whatever you want to call it. I hate them both, but I am leaning more towards Timberwolves. I already went over why I kind of lean more towards Timberwolves last episode. You know, you got a couple of Nuggets guys on there, so, you know, it's still good to have them win, plus some Knicks guys on there. It would be good to see them go to the finals. They haven't won a championship. I know OKC hasn't either, but, you know, Timberwolves, I feel like out of the 2 of them, give it to them. So, and then you look at the Eastern Conference, right? And unfortunately, the Knicks are now down 0-2 as well to the Pacers. And they've been down, now they got down to 0-2 from 2 games that they should have won. That is very, very frustrating. And I'm pretty sure a lot of Knicks fans are frustrated right now. But I'm still sticking with the Knicks. I still hope that they win. Brunson, man, he is phenomenal. Cat, what I'm disappointed in Cat is that he is not showing up in the way that he was showing up in the Celtics in round 2 against the Celtics. He's not showing up like that. Like right now, he is just not looking like the dominant big that he has shown himself to be, especially in regular season. And then in the round 2, I know he didn't really show up that much in round 1, but there was I think there was a game or 2 that he did. But I mean, I need more from Cat, and I need, just how they won against the Celtics is how they should be winning against the Pacers right now. But, you know, if the Pacers do end up winning and they go to the finals, I'll be fine with that as long as it's Timberwolves Pacers or as long as the Pacers win the whole thing. if not, obviously I want Timberwolves and Knicks overall. Either way, I want East side to win this season. That's pretty much it. So, moving on now. So there was a big question posted or presented by it was Adam Morez and Tim Legler. Adam Morez of DNVR, who I've become started to befriend. He's a really cool guy, and I like that he kind of sticks up now and then for the comments that Tim Legler will say, because Tim Legler is a very intelligent basketball mind. He understands a lot of it, but at the same time, he works for ESPN, and I can't take his comments seriously all the time because it kind of seems like sometimes he is saying stuff to help the clickbaits, and sometimes he's saying it because he's paid to say something negatively. And that's kind of what it feels like. So they were talking about, are the Nuggets done? Was them not winning this year a sign they're washed up? Tim Legler seems to think so, and even went as far as to say that Jokić will never win an MVP again since he didn't win it this year. So pretty much already what I said before, like, I don't think they're washed up. Let me know in the comments if you think they are. I don't. I think that they still have a very good chance of being a very relevant team, especially coming next year. They saw what inevitably really crushed them this year, so they can work on making that all better, patching up the foundation where there was holes. Hopefully they do that, and hopefully David Alman is a strong enough coach to hold players to accountability. If he is, then we are 100% still in it. If we come back into next season and we lose the first 7 games, there might be some reason for concern then. I wouldn't panic at losing the first 5 games. I mean, if anything is a sign of don't overreact at a team in the beginning first half of the season, it's the Pacers. If you look at them, they were horrible the first half of this season, and then they just kind of flipped a switch with a couple of trades and everything, and they just kind of gunned it. They have been phenomenal ever since the second half of the season, and it shows because they're now in the Eastern Conference Finals, close to getting back to the finals. So I don't think that that there's anything wrong with starting a season off bad. Of course, you want to start a season off good, but there's no reason to freak out until you get into a losing streak that's longer than 2. So that's when you start to get a little bit worried, and so we'll see that next season if that happens. So I don't think they're washed up. I think that Jokić makes us relevant, and he will continue to make us relevant as long as he's on the team and still playing well. We already saw him have his best season yet. He will still have an amazing season next year too. And it just really depends on who the Kroenkes decide to put around him or keeping around him. So let me know what you think in the comments. The other thing about that is that Tim saying that Jokić will never win an MVP again. I don't agree with that either. I think that he will. I think that there is a possibility that before he retires, he will retire with at least 4 MVPs. I think there's at least 1 more left for him to win. And then, who else could win the MVP award if not Jokić next year? God, I hope it's not SGA. Pretty much, I will take just about anyone else other than SGA. Granted, there's the obvious ones I won't also take. I won't take another LeBron MVP. I will not take an Embiid MVP or a Jason Tatum MVP. But I will, even if Ant were to get the MVP award, as crazy as that would be, I would accept that more than an SGA MVP, second SGA MVP. I think that the front runners going into next season, just by how they played this season, would be Giannis if he gets onto another team. I think that he can still be very relevant in that conversation. I think Jalen Brunson has shown that he can be very much an MVP. He is, as we've seen already in these playoffs, when he is off the court, the Knicks are struggling. And so he definitely is very valuable to that team. I think that also Cade Cunningham is crazy enough. I think he's great for that team. And then one player that I would love to see more of and to just really dominate more is Wemby. You know, I have really grown to love his style of play. He's not your typical big, neither is Jokić, but he also, the thing I love about Wemby is that he can be so dominant, and yet he doesn't do the same types of foul baiting that SGA does. And he can get to the rim. He can get to the and if he's blocked out from the paint area, no problem. He'll go back and he'll shoot a three. Like, that's just what Wemby gives you. And then he's phenomenal with defense. He blocks like he's just a force in the paint. You cannot get. It is so difficult to get a shot up unless you're John Morant. You know, with John Morant dunking on him that time. But I think that Wemby should be in the MVP conversation next season if he is able to come back healthy. And then, I mean, if John Morant was actually able to be consistent and healthy throughout the entire season, I think he could even be in that conversation. And then, short of that, I guess also if Luka Doncic gets in a good shape and is able to be consistent and play at least 70 games, he could also be back in that conversation, since he wasn't even in it this season. So this season you won't have Jason Tatum in that conversation. You won't have Kyrie Irving in that conversation. And so it'll be interesting to see who really breaks out next season for showing how valuable they are to their team. So then real quick, I've been talking a lot here. Hopefully you've stayed with me this whole time. If you did, please, I thank you for your support and everything. But I also wanted to kind of take a sidestep away from sports and talk about music, because for me, one of my favorite bands is Foo Fighters. And I know that they have been going through a lot. Ever since Taylor Hawkins, their drummer, died in 2022, Dave Grohl has just kind of gone off the rails, as you could say, and he's had an affair with a lady that kind of caused them to break the band up for a little bit of time. Around the same time that he lost Taylor, one of his best friends, he also lost his mom. So there's a lot going on with Dave Grohl right now. And when you see any of the pictures of him, you can just see that he has aged drastically. He is most likely drinking heavily and probably isn't able to sleep a lot. And so I understand that his mind is not probably of the most sound right now. There was the recent news that they ended up letting go their new drummer, Josh Freese, who kind of never really a permanent drummer. He was kind of just the temp drummer, at least I saw it. And I never kind of saw him as an actual Foo Fighters drummer. He might have agreed to an actual full-time gig with them and everything, but he was recently let go, and there's a lot of people who are upset about this. And if you look at on any of the Foo Fighters posts, especially on Instagram and everything, there are just people hounding them about giving Josh Freese some respect and to let him know why you let him go and all that. What these people need to understand is that Taylor and Dave also did not get along. And they didn't get along because they had two completely different ideas of how the drumming should go. Not just how the band should go, but how the drumming should go. And Taylor left for a little bit before he came back to the band. Dave Grohl is a very controlling mindset to when it comes to music. He knows exactly what he wants. He has a precise, guitar-wise, drum-wise specifically, because he used to be the top drummer, like the drummer for Nirvana, right? So he already knows the drumming aspects. And so he is going to be very nitpicky when it comes to the drumming that he wants in his band that he started with a couple of guys back in the 90s after Nirvana ended, and then ended up calling it the Foo Fighters. He is going to be extremely nitpicky about that. So him letting go Josh Freese does not surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all, and it shouldn't surprise anyone else. And if he wanted to let him go, he wanted to let him go. We don't really need to know the gritty details, and I'm sure we will eventually. But, that happens. People get laid off sometimes without any reason. That happened to me, And I understand that Josh Freese got let go for the first time ever on a band. There's always a first time for everything, bud. Welcome to the suck. It hurts. It sucks. But sometimes it's just that's the way that life is, And now you have that experience under your belt. So if anyone else lets you go, you'll be prepared for it. It sucks getting laid off. I get it, but it's Dave Grohl, and I'm not surprised that happened, and I'm sure that he does want to go in a different direction. I mean, they just took time off away after the affair. And so he's probably got a different new idea of how he wants to go about things. So, there's that. I'm still going to be a Foo Fighters fan. If anything kind of turned me off about Foo Fighters, it's not the shit that Dave Grohl is doing, because that's a rock star. It's not I'm not going to validate any of his actions. They are still bad, and that's on him though. Who am I to judge? He without sin throws the first stone, kind of thing. None of us have really a clean slate, right? So I'm not going to judge on that. But the thing that does kind of turn me off sometimes with the Foo Fighters is just how big of a band they have become. I loved when they were a smaller band, when it was just four guys jamming. That's the kind of Foo Fighters that I would love to see come back, but I probably won't. It's probably going to be another big band now, and that's just kind of who it is now, and we have to accept it or not go to it. So then the last thing I was going to talk about was I saw Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, and if you haven't seen it, go see it. If you haven't seen the other films, go see those ones first and then see this. It was very entertaining. And I don't know what Tom Cruise does, man, that keeps him going, but he definitely found the fountain of youth and is not sharing it with anyone. I don't know if it's the Scientology that's keeping him so vibrant, or if it's some kind of root that he's eating or something. I don't know, but props to him for staying in such good shape at the age that he's at, of 62, and doing all the stunts himself. That's just phenomenal. He is a crazy guy, and I just am entertained with seeing how crazy his films get. It's not, if you're looking to have reality with the film, you're going for the wrong reasons. There is a lot that is kind of there's a lot of loopholes. There's a lot of oh, well, that wouldn't happen, or the president wouldn't do that. Just chill and enjoy the craziness. Essentially, there was a huge segment in there where I'm not gonna spoil it too much for y'all in case you haven't seen it, but there's a longer segment in it where there's absolutely zero talking, and it was so intense, and it just to me impressed me of that kind of true cinema of being able to engage with your audience with zero dialogue, only pictures and sound of music and some sound effects and everything, and that told that story. that was phenomenal. And so there's that, and then there was another ending sequence that was also just out of the world, like what the hell, craziness. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. I recommend it. It was pretty sweet. I enjoyed it. I know I've been going on rambling on here for a while, so I'll close this one out. But just wanted to talk a little bit about movies as I'm going in more movie talk in future episodes here soon, and also that music stuff that just kind of I needed to get that out. But let me know what you guys do in the off season. What do you watch now when there's no basketball? What kind of shows are you watching, or TV, or do you even watch TV? Do you now go out and enjoy the world without basketball? What do you do? Let me know. So, and then I'm still looking for a host or someone to talk to. So if you're willing to do that, hit me up on X at Iron Roads Prods, and let's get some going. So, thank you for sticking with me this whole time. I really appreciate it. If you like this episode, please give it a like and subscribe. Share it out to your friends and family. And you've been watching and listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. We'll catch you later.